If you're building a company, you've definitely built a market size model. But what if I told you the one number at the heart of that model is probably wrong? We're going to dig into this because we need to challenge one of the most common and most dangerous assumptions in business planning.
You know the one I'm talking about. How can a single, simple number, one that feels totally safe and data-driven,
End up inflating your projections so badly that it throws your entire strategy off course? Well, it happens way more than you think. And it all starts with what I like to call the lie of the average customer.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll expose this average customer lie. Then, we'll unpack what your real customer segments look like. After that, I'm going to show you a side-by-side calculation that makes the problem painfully obvious. We'll also look at what else those simple averages miss. And finally, we'll walk through how to build a much better model.
All right, first up, the average customer lie. It's so tempting because it's so simple. And honestly, that's what makes it such a dangerous trap.
I mean, look at this formula. We've all seen it, right? You just take your total number of potential accounts, multiply it by an average contract value, your ACV, and boom, you've got a big, impressive market size. In this case, 1,000 accounts times an average of 25,000 euros gets you a nice round 25 million euro market. It looks clean, it feels right, and it is completely wrong.
And here is the fundamental problem. Averages hide the truth. They just smooth over all the real, messy differences between your customers, and that creates a totally false picture. The bottom line is, if you're not segmenting, your revenue projections are almost guaranteed to be skewed way too high.
Okay, so let's fix it. We're going to unpack the segments. Because your market isn't just one big blob of average customers. No way. It's a mix of very different groups who buy in very different ways.
For starters, you've got your early-stage SMBs, your small and medium-sized businesses. Think of these as your volume play. They don't have huge budgets, they decide fast, and their contract values are, pretty modest, maybe somewhere between 8 and 12,000 euros.
Then you have the mid-market. These folks are more operational buyers. They're looking for real efficiency gains, and they have more cash to spend. So here you see the ACV range jump up quite a bit, maybe to somewhere between 20 and 35,000 euros.
And then you have the big one, the enterprise segment. These are strategic buyers. They've got complex problems, which means long, complicated sales cycles. But their budgets are absolutely massive. We're talking contract values from 60,000 all the way up to 120,000 euros, maybe even more. The difference between an SMB and an enterprise deal is just night and day. And now, for the moment of truth. Let's do the side-by-side calculation. This is where we put the flawed average model right next to the smart, segmented model and see what happens. It's a tale of two models. Okay, let's really walk through this because this is where it all clicks. So look at Model A. It just slaps that flat 25,000 euro average across every single account and gets to that $25 million total. Simple, easy, and totally misleading. Now look over at Model B. This is reality. We've used a realistic ACV for each segment. Just 10K for the 800 SMBs, 27.5K for our 150 mid-market folks, and a big 90K for those 50 enterprise whales. And the final number? The market size plummets to just $16.6 million. That is a massive 8 million euro difference. That simple average wasn't just a little off, it inflated our market by more than 50%, all because it ignored how our customers are actually distributed.
But believe it or not, the problem goes even deeper than that initial contract. Using a single static average number ignores the way modern business actually works. Just think about it for a second. Pricing isn't one size fits all anymore. You've got hybrid models, usage-based models. It creates a ton of variability. And discounting? It's not like everyone gets 10% off. Some customers get big discounts, many get none, which completely skews any average. But the biggest one? The initial ACV is just the beginning. The real growth comes from net revenue retention, or NRR. That's the money you make when existing customers upgrade and expand. A static model completely misses this entire engine of growth.
So, how do we get out of this mess? Well, let's go from using flawed math to building a model that gives us real, strategic clarity.
Here's a super clear, actionable way to do it. First thing you got to do is identify your real customer segments. And I don't just mean by company size, I mean by how they actually buy. Step 2, calculate a realistic ACV range for each one of those segments. Third, you have to apply a weighted distribution, just like in our table. You probably have way more small customers than large ones. And finally, step 4, your model has to be dynamic. It needs to account for the real-world variables like expansion revenue, churn, and different pricing plans.
So here's the thing I really want you to take away from this. An accurate market size isn't just some vanity number you stick in a pitch deck. No, it is a fundamental tool for your entire strategy. It tells you where to put your sales reps, how to spend your marketing dollars, what to build in your product. Which really leaves us with just one last crucial question for you to think about. Is the number you're using today a real strategic tool, or is it just a statistical ghost?